Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
And we are live.
We are.
We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Hold My Pen Promptcast. Can everybody hear us okay? Patrick, test, volume.
Patrick, test, volume. Patrick, test, test.
Ooh, it's echoey. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It's all me.
All right.
I'm wondering if this thing doesn't like my laptop.
Entirely
hey, look,
possible.
I downloaded the app on my phone, and that's what I'm doing it with. No headphones.
That's what I do.
Got the app on the phone.
Yeah. I've tried it on the laptop, and I can't stand it. Plus, my laptop's webcam is terrible. So,
See, that's
iPad.
see right over here. See, now I'm all clear and everything like that. But if I go to the laptop, I'm fuzzy.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off my laptop and see if I can get my tablet running.
Alrighty. Oof.
Yeah, it's been a good week. Well, kind of, sort of. I got one thing fixed on my car yet. Come to find out that the vacuum line, I've been trying to figure out where it goes. goes into where the other vacuum line went. It's just the front piece was broke off.
That figures.
The part was broke. So a lovely trip to the junkyard later because Julie's playground. Um, first time for the fact finding mission of where the hose went. Second time to actually go back and get the piece. When we realized mine was broke. So
God,
what a
I
fun.
need to re-dye my hair so badly. My hair's so pale now.
See, what y'all can't tell is that backstage, I look great. I look absolutely phenomenal. On the stream, I'm blurry as hell.
We did something the last time I was on live. I think it was the virtual cam. That ended up
Yeah.
looking great.
Oh, I know, but now I've readjusted it for this because of the Hold My Pen Promptcast thingamajiggy up there, and it's a different dimension. What?
It is in a different dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. Everybody on the stream is clear except for I don't see Patrick's picture, but
Me
I
either.
don't see Patrick's picture backstage either. Um, yeah. Well, here's the funny thing. It's showing you're muted on my side, but you're talking.
Yeah, and
Busy.
and
Not nice.
I what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, the only downside with that cache running a test run is just the fact that we can get together at this point of the week as opposed to the rest of the week. So eventually, what really upsets me too is that this is a brand new webcam that I bought specifically for this.
right.
Oh, good. Okay. See, I could always. Nope, I can't turn me off. Because I did other stuff on the back end.
All right. Izzy just went dark.
Yep. But I'm still here.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh dear lord. What is happening to your camera?
What?
I don't know. I got nothing.
To mine?
It's flickering bright green. It's not showing up on the stream, thankfully, but in the backstage, wow.
Yup.
Okay, now it's clear.
I'm assuming you're doing the virtual camera thing again.
Yup.
It's in the box.
Hey, whatever works.
Whatever works. All right. Woosah.
I know, right, Cash? Why am I echoey?
I don't know. Jagannath! All right. Well, it's been one hell of a frickin' week.
It has. It definitely has. Hanging in there.
I don't bite, Patrick. Mm. And yes, that well, that's less of a threat and more of a promise, Kesh. Just saying.
Hey, look, guys, we're like 5 weeks away. Hey, you're no more panicky right now than I am.
This is
I
true.
think I am more panicky than you are. 4, 5. No, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3,
Hey, I can see Patrick.
5, 6. I'm sorry. We're 6 weeks. 6 weeks from Thursday.
You're muted, but we can see you.
Try playing with the sound.
There should be a mute button along the bottom of the screen somewhere where you turn the camera on.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay!
So this 6 weeks will give me enough time to finish getting more of this printed.
Yes, yes. The lovely cover or the lovely character art for Destined for More.
Yeah, that way you might not have Destined for More there, but I can give you the character art so that way you can put the vellums in books when you get
Right.
it.
Well, I'm gonna try. This week I'm going to go and get, or I'm gonna order the books, which should put them in. Probably by the 22nd. I think they said if I ordered them by Thursday next week, I should have them in by the 22nd, no later than the 29th. And what I'm going to try to do, God willing, and the Kirks don't rise, I'm gonna get on Canva, or I'm gonna have Izzy walk me through Canva because I don't get Canva very often. And I'm gonna try to make bookmarks, print them out for Crossroads. Uh,
All right. All right. I think
can
we
hear.
are quicker than
Usual.
usual on fixing scuff.
Yes.
It's because we got Patrick's handsome face in the camera this time.
Nice buttering it up. But I'll tell you this: careful, because you're gonna be mad at me after this chapter reading. Both you and Izzy. I will say this: It's grow, not go. At the end, towards the end of the chapter. It's
So
like towards the last couple.
so a typo.
Yep,
Okay, gotcha.
I caught it when I was doing some edits. I'm like, oh shit. I was like, well, I'm not going to resubmit it to them because they already have it, and all it is telling them it's the word
One
grow,
word.
not.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Julie, did you get counts this week?
I have not.
That's all right.
Uh, Due to the unforeseen circumstances of me being at the junkyard twice today and going all the way to Jackson to see if we can't locate the pattern for my dress, which we could not. Um, then coming home, fixing the car, and then going and getting shit for dinner.
Pattern for your dress?
um, yeah, I still haven't lost enough weight to fit the original dress.
Gotcha.
Um,
That's
and
alright.
the zipper keeps getting stuck.
Which we do know is a known problem with these zippers because Kesh and I have also had this issue with dresses from this company. So we're good there.
So yeah, it's one of those things where the two fabrics meet. It does the zipper doesn't want to go down, and then when you're
Yeah.
coming up where it meets the next fabric, it doesn't want to go up. So, and I've lost weight. I've lost almost 15 pounds. I
That's
just
awesome.
I just haven't lost it in the right place.
Yeah, the human body tends to do that.
Um, I've been doing planks. I've been doing core exercises, but I haven't toned up my back enough and my sides enough to fit into the the dress in the size that was currently bought.
That's alright. It just means you can use it for a later event.
Exactly. Once I trim back down everything like that, I'll have it for a later event. It's just right
Exactly.
now
You need something for this one.
I need something for this one. Though later if you get a chance, if you go look in I think it's body doubling in the side chat, you or there is three options. Um, apparently option two is just not going to work anywhere around it. So option one and option is what we're looking at.
Hey, 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 we have Dark in the house. Woohoo!
Yeah, hey, sweetheart.
Mm.
Aren't you
Huh?
supposed to be asleep? Hey, look, I know where they're at. So, I mean, time wise,
Oh, absolutely. I get it. I get it.
and they also have little ones.
Well, and Julie just can't help not be a mom,
Yeah, it's one of those things.
right?
But it is 8:18, and it's been a minute since I've been able to do this at our appropriate time. So, everybody bear with me. And welcome to the Hold My Pen Promptcast.
We need a
Uh,
cheer.
host Julie DeFisher. Surrounding me tonight, as always, we have our lovely co-host, Izzy Kraus, operating the twisted screen as usual. Um, Directly below me, we have C.R. McCormick. So glad to have her back finally.
It's
Uh,
been rough.
it's been rough. But also she just released a new book literally
First.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
And as somebody who got a first chance read of that said book, damn it, woman, I hope your pillows are overly soft and your drink is either just under or just over the right temperature.
I still can't tell if that's a cuss out or if that's praise. I don't know if you're mad or happy.
Take it as you will. And then over in the corner, the man, the myth, the legend, author of the Chimera Wolf series. So, being in the chat with this release this year. Decoding Shady Pines. I was waiting for you to pull the cover. It's like, pull the book, pull the book.
I did.
Along, yes, Kingdom of Shadows, which is a dark retelling of Peter Pan, which was actually done on this show. And then the back end of Decoding Shady Pines were also part of the show, which proves that if you're diligent and you have a creative mind and just like to play the let's fuck with Izzy game, we
Very much
bring
so.
it along. So, uh, also soon to be released, Jed and the Wolves of Desire, and the lovely Heart of Stone, which will be tonight or tonight's submission. So I thank you all for being here. Buckle up, get your popcorn, get your drinks. I don't know if we're gonna need hankies tonight, but you might want to just get that on the thing. Stress balls are always a good thing, unless you know. There it is. Please don't throw food at the screen. You're just hurting yourself at that point. Um, and let's go and settle down for a amazing night. Yes, we only have 4 submissions tonight, but
What?
4 submissions is better than no submissions. So
They're gonna be gold. It's
They
all
are going to
good.
be gold. And frankly, I did have an idea for this prompt. However, I'm not prepared to write that scene because I need to know other things before going into that scene, and I didn't want to do a disservice. So,
and
this
I'm
prompt,
in the same headspace with mine. Like I know where I need this next scene to go. I know in my soul how I need to start this. But until my little characters start talking to me and exactly which sequence of events needs to happen first,
Stop it.
I can sit there and think it all the time, but it's not going to come out right.
well, and here's my other problem. Between Sunday and Monday, I plotted out 6 more books
Salem, stop it.
that have nothing to
It's
do with the ones that I'm currently writing.
nope.
Yeah.
Go away.
So,
Last thing you
y'all
burned
have
into my
infected me.
tripod, really?
I'm just
All right.
bringing you to the dark side.
You're just bringing me
I
to the
don't
dark
even
side.
know what this week's prompt is because I haven't gotten a chance to go back and watch the videos and look at it, let alone write anything for it. So
Well, and of course, I do have a show script that I have put together that I keep forgetting to look at so that we stay on target. But of course, okay, there we go. Back on target. Uh you guys are all regulars. However, for the after party stream of, redoing it later and having it up on the uh YouTube, go to our
YouTube's of you.
profile, follow the link to our beacons. Our website is there. Our newsletter is there. And we don't spam you with said newsletter. You only get one a week. And you can reply to it with your submission. Also, feel free to forward it. All right? Forward it to your friends, colleagues, readers, writers in your life, and tell them to come join the fun. So,
Always.
always, this week's
And if you
prompt.
know somebody
Go
who
ahead.
happens to be looking for us, because we did make the jump very abruptly from TikTok.
TikTok.
If you know anybody who's looking for us, say, hey, look, they're over here on Twitch, and send them our link.
I've been actually telling people that I've run into and some of the other groups that I know about us on Twitch. So we might start getting some people coming in.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right.
Once
So
I
go ahead.
once I get our QR code, I can actually start making signs and flyers and start posting them in different places. Like I'll take the QR codes, put them on cards or bookmarks, and I'll go running around town to all the my little libraries and popping it one in
Pop
there.
it in. In the adult section, because we are not safe for kids.
Yeah,
That's
we're
obvious. Come on, look who's a writer on here. Come on now, we already know.
Who's the
Me?
one who drops F bombs like they're.
Hey, I understand that already, but they ain't got to directly call me out on it.
Jeez, I just got here. Why you gotta harp on me that bad? Fuck. I mean,
I mean, the word fuck is the most versatile word in the English language. I will stick by that. And they also have done studies that women who swear are some of the most intelligent women on the planet. I'll take it.
Right.
I'll take it.
they're
All
also
right.
supposed to be in more regulation of their emotions and have a higher emotional intelligence.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So this week, today it is May 3rd, 2025. And for those that do not know, Monday is the birthday of our very own Julie DeFisher.
Yup.
So, with that, the reason we have added in an additional caveat to the lovely prompt is go ahead and use any of the concepts. Try to work any of the past concepts into your prompt from the past 4 weeks. But this week's dialogue that you guys love to freaking pick,
Of course, you picked dialogue. Of course, you did.
of course.
Oh no! See, she has a caveat to all of her stuff. If we don't choose concept, we have to use one of the concepts in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that's
Which
Look, Izzy picked music. You had to sneak in lyrics. Patrick threw in you had to use some sort of mystical
mythology
legend,
gods. Yeah.
gods, this, that, and the other. I had to be different, but the whole thing is it's like I'm like, might as well use some of the stuff
We ain't
we
been
didn't
using.
use.
Because on top
I
of
hope
that,
this show.
we've got that whole big long list, right? And every single week, I put 3 little asterisks before the ones that don't get voted. And then during the month of December, Julie and I are probably going to spend an entire week going through these lists and going, okay, it wasn't picked. Do we check it? Do we hang on to it for another year?
Right. And the whole thing is we already have asterisks by or colored asterisks by certain ones. So if they didn't get chosen, depending on what the prompt is and this, that, and the other, we might keep it for another year, but then it'll be double asterisked. And then we know that, hey, look, we didn't use it again or it didn't roll through. It's getting 86th and new ones will be provided. So
Yep.
we're just trying to keep it fresh around here.
Yep.
I really hope this show is around for another year so that it swings around on my birthday and I can think of something that can really mess with you guys.
I wouldn't see why it wouldn't.
I don't foresee us going anywhere. We've survived the great ban of January 2025 on TikTok, moved over here. And for those interested in our Discord, we now have a channel that says Twitch stats and another channel that says YouTube stats, where after the stream, we get that email that says what our stream's summary was. And we've had a lot of
This
people
week we
dropping by
actually had 63 views
on
in
last week's stream.
on last week's. So
Now, whether they stay for the entire thing, I mean,
Yeah.
that's neither
It's a
here nor
2-hour
there.
show. I don't blame them for not watching the whole thing.
No, absolutely not. So, this week's dialogue was pull yourself together. We have work to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And first up
Interesting.
is our lovely, lovely Trisha Jones.
Miss Trisha Jones.
No,
Which
there's
just had an audiobook release.
yes. Yes.
Yes, she
What
did.
book was that, Trisha?
Oh, I had to change my shirt. It's getting too hot up here.
Trying to think. It was Life by the Blue Moon, and that's Anne Smith, right? Anne and Joe. Yep. Cool, cool, cool. All right. And there's a notation in this email that says this is more from something I sent in a few weeks ago.
Mm-mm.
I turned away from the mirror and walked out of my room to join everyone at my mother's party. As I walked into the party, I got whispered about. They were either talking about my reappearance or the dress. Either way, Mother would not be happy. When Ethan saw me, he came over to me with a glass of what looked like red wine. Mother will throw a fit as soon as she sees you, he said with a smile. Oh, I know, but she was the one who told me to wear black. I chuckled while taking a sip from my glass. About that time, I saw my mother. When she turned and saw me, I could see her blood boiling. I knew it would take her a while to get to me through all the guests. She would greet each and every one of them. She would rather die than be seen as rude. Ethan could not help but laugh at the slow creep our mother was doing to get to me. Pull yourself together, I playfully smacked his arm. We have work to do. I gave him a bit of a shove towards the stage that was at the far end of the tent. We decided we needed to give our mother's guest a bit of entertainment. We stood next to the stage and watched as our mother looked for me as she had gotten to the place I was standing. I went up to the band while they were on break to see if we could request a song or two that were not at all elegant. She is going to have a coronary at my song choices, I thought, as I started walking towards Mother, since she made it halfway to me after I wandered away. I knew I was in trouble when my mother pushed me out the closest tent opening. She pulled the flap shut, spinning to face me with a ripple of her shimmering silver dress. How dare you? She spat at me in angry whispers. You are making a fool of me in that dress, I finished for her. That is not a dress, she spat. That is barely a nightgown. I take it you don't like it, I smirked. I just despise it, and you know this, my mother said through gritted teeth. But, Mother, you told me to wear black, I said in mock innocence. She gritted her teeth so hard I swore her fangs would snap. Now, Mother, if you don't stop gritting your teeth, you will need fang implants. Don't you dare tell me what I told you to wear. She did ease up on her fangs. You knew I wanted to wear something elegant and sophisticated, not this little bit of silk. I happen to like this little bit of silk, Mother, I snapped at her. Don't take that tone with me. She was about to say something else when she noticed the music had changed to something she finds dreadful. She rushed off to stop the band from playing the song I requested and to find out who on God's green earth said they should play that at her party. I chuckled to myself and walked back to the party to find Ethan.
Izzy, I
Is
can't
that
hear
it?
you.
That's it.
It's Trisha. I should have known better. Fucking damn it, woman.
Leaving
Long
us
enough
on.
for me to be intrigued.
Let's go find our brother.
Mhm.
Are we not using the sound effects?
It
You have sound
doesn't
effects?
come through for us on the backstage, but it does come through for our viewers.
You have sound effects?
We have
What
sound
did I miss?
effects. We have sound effects.
What the heck
What do
happened?
we have?
Dun dun dun.
I was wondering why Izzy didn't do her thing.
Yeah, we have sound effects now, but apparently we don't get to hear them.
That's hilarious. I love that so much.
Yeah, I had earlier as Julie was introducing us all, I was doing the crowd cheering, and unfortunately, at one point, I realized it was a little too loud and was drowning her out. So I had to dial back the sound. I like to see Trisha go down these darker paths.
Right?
I do. I just wish that we were getting maybe a morsel or two more.
Well, I
Oh
mean,
no. That's how she keeps you hooked onto
yeah.
the fishing line. She's not like me. I give away the fucking everything for free.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything to that, Patrick.
There's a reason I stopped posting scoundrel on here, man.
By the way, since you mentioned it, when should we be expecting Scoundrel?
Fucked if I know, because the pirates have unfortunately taken a back seat, and the enemies to lovers who are trapped in a house that forces them to be immortal and have killed themselves 14 times already by chapter 3 has taken over my brain.
Okay.
That uh, okay.
I mean that's fair. It makes sense.
It's like, I'm sorry. My biggest beef with literally practically every enemies to lovers out there is they're not real enemies. They're just, oh, he said something mean to me and now I hate him. Bitch, that's not your enemy. No, these guys are literal war enemies and have literally murdered each other multiple times in the first chapter. There's it's I'm gonna need some trigger warnings for this book. It's rough. There's one moment where a wine glass shattered and the stem is shoved into someone's ear, and I yeah 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 it's rough.
I beg your finest pardon.
You can beg all you want. I won't change the fact that that's what happened. So that's what I've been writing the last few days, which is why I haven't been doing many of the prompts, because nothing I've been writing has been able to go on here. It's too violent.
Well, I don't know. For Twitch, we might be able to get away with it.
That's true. This is Twitch now. I'll have
Yeah.
to I'll have to look into what Zara and Ashton are up to lately.
Are we being threatened with a rainbow whip?
You're not that lucky.
Oh, okay. And speaking of not that lucky, let's get a little angry at Brother PA Power here because up next is chapter 8 called First Sight of Heart of Stone. Amanda walked out of her room to help set the table while the professor tried not to mother her. Amanda, please tell me you're not going to be out all hours of the night. Just because you're not sleeping in the dorms does not mean you can run about. I know, Professor. It's just Scott. He wants to take me to see the moon smile. Amanda blushed. I almost forgot that was happening this month. You know, he is a lucky guy to catch your attention. Lynn sat the last dish down and they both sat together to have a meal when Amanda started to see spots. The fire crackled low in the hearth, throwing shadows across the stone walls. Amelia sat still, her eyes fixed on something far beyond the room. She barely breathed, a finger twitching as another flicker surged through her mind. A sudden image of moving lights, of glass screens lit with strange symbols, of a girl, Amanda, laughing, crying, typing. I saw her again, Amelia whispered, voice brittle with awe. She's speaking to someone, not with her mouth, but her fingers. And the box, it glows like captured lightning. She calls him Scott. He's in her heart. I can feel it. Anna leaned in, intrigued. Is it a dream? Amelia shook her head. No, it's more than that. They come like sparks or bits of a tapestry half woven. One minute I'm here, and the next I'm behind her eyes, seeing what she remembers or what she wishes she could forget. I think, no, I know they're memories, but they aren't hers alone. Some of them are borrowed. Anna looked unsettled. Borrowed from whom? From time, from me, or us? Amelia murmured, eyes wide. From something yet to happen. She dreams of the past, and I dream of her. This vision, it comes in like the wave on the cliffs. Some come in soft and gentle, where I can see all of it and truly enjoy the vision, while others come crashing in like a violent storm. Agnes dropped the bundle of herbs she'd been sorting with a sharp sigh. Pull yourself together. We have work to do. If the visions are to come, they will come. The more you force your way forward will only lead to trouble. Amelia blinked, the vision splintering like a broken mirror. The soft hum of Amanda's machine vanished. The fire crackled again, real and present. Agnes stood, arms crossed, the weight of duty in her glare. But she has come back so easily. Work, Amelia, Agnes spit out as she nicked her finger with the edge of a knife. But what if these visions are the work? Amelia countered, quickening. What if I'm meant to see her, to understand her world so we can change our own? Amelia's fingers faintly traced the sigil once more. Agnes softened just a little. Then understand it while grinding these roots. We'll need them if the fever spreads. It's already on the south side of the island. If you're doing protection sigils, that's the wrong one. You're doing echo. Why do you think the past is easy for her to come back to? It's not like she can be more powerful than you, Amelia, Anna asked while pulling dry herbs into a bowl. You said it yourself. The root of her power is old as ours. She is our bloodline, but she is new to the craft. I'm not sure. I just see some cute boy's face in my mind and get the same feelings I have for. Amelia stopped and blushed. She is in love. Amelia pressed her palms against her head as another wave of buzzing built in her skull. No, not in her skull. In Amanda's world. Amanda's phone buzzed with another text from Scott. Scott, still thinking about lunch. Come stargazing with me tonight. If you do, I'll never look at stargazing the same way again. She bit her lower lip and smiled, cheeks warming as she typed back with one hand under the table. Amanda, you're lucky I like astronomy, or maybe you're just lucky, period. Buzz. Scott, definitely the second one. Amanda giggled softly and lowered her phone, trying to focus on the dinner, but then it hit, sharp and sudden, like the snap of a rubber band inside her skull. Ow! She winced, fingers pressing against her temple. From across the room, Professor Lynn paused. Amanda, everything all right? I. Just a headache starting, she said, standing up slowly and blinking through the haze. It's fine. Do you need Tylenol? Amanda shook her head, distracted. Oh, I think I saw some herbs in the garden outside. That'll help. Before she could question her further, Amanda slipped out the door and walked briskly across to the greenhouse, heading straight for the small herb garden. Her movements felt automatic, almost ancestral, like someone else's hands guided her. She knelt, found peppermint leaves by instinct, and began mashing them in her palm with a small rock she found nearby. She strained the green liquid through the edge of her sleeve, then dabbed it gently behind each ear and along her temples. A cool, tingling calm spread through her skull. She exhaled. The pain ebbed. The noise of the present dulled. Professor Lin's voice startled her from behind. That's not something most students learn on TikTok. Amanda glanced up, sheepish but calm. I read it somewhere. It would have worked better if I let it sit for 3 days, but I already feel better.
Sorry.
The fact that Professor Lin even knows what TikTok is and what people learn on it is
Toxic. Toxic. No.
Amanda, if I let it sit for 3 days, but I already feel better. The professor nodded slowly, intrigued. That's an old remedy. Very old. Amanda looked toward the horizon, her gaze unfocused. Feels like I've always known it. Well, come, let's finish dinner. I know you already have plans for after. Don't stay out too late. Dinner was abruptly interrupted by a rhythmic knock. Scott's knock. It had surprised Amanda. She hadn't expected him to show up this early, with that half smile and soft, "Wanna go see the stars?" Scott leaned in, staring deep into Amanda's eyes. She smiled and paused, but she didn't say no. She only gathered her coat and walked out. Now, as they climbed, she clutched her coat tighter with one hand, candles and a lighter clinking softly in one of her pockets. Once they reached the top, she moved with quiet purpose, kneeling on a flat stone surrounded by tufts of grass and wind-blown heather. You came prepared, Scott said, watching as she set down the candles in a neat triangle and lit each flame. She muttered something low, nearly lost to the sea breeze. What was that? He asked, curious. Amanda shrugged, blushing faintly. Just a prayer, I think. I read it once, or dreamed it. Something about the firelight keeping us safe from the evil in the dark of the night. Scott grinned. Oh, are you calling me evil now? Or are you saying I'm not strong enough to fight off the big bad Dullahan? Or is it a wailing woman? Amanda laughed, cheeks pink. No, I don't think you're evil. But you might be up to something, dragging me out here under the stars. You know the druids. The wind whipped gently along the cliffs, tugging strands of Amanda's hair free from her braid. The stars above scattered like powdered diamonds, and the rhythmic crash of the waves below gave a kind of reverent hush to the night. He smiled at her then, soft, maybe even a little shy. The air between them shifted, thicker now. He reached for her, hand paused, then pulled back to brush her hair instead. She glanced away, pretending to focus on the stone at her feet. You are the one who brought candles and sang prayers. He put his hands up, unprovoked, surrendering. Her fingers moved without thought, slowly tracing a pattern onto the surface, a looping, ancient symbol. What are you drawing? Scott asked. A sigil, she murmured. He crouched beside her. A sigil of what? Amanda's voice grew distant. Of echoes. He blinked. Echoes? Yeah. She stopped, suddenly aware of the silence surrounding them. It's been in my head for days. Every time I close my eyes, I see it. Scott gently touched her hand. You okay? She nodded, but her gaze remained fixed on the sigil. Sometimes I think I'm remembering things that didn't happen or haven't happened yet. Or happened to someone else. Scott didn't laugh or tease this time. He sat beside her, and after a long moment, he said quietly, well, maybe it's all connected somehow. You and whoever came before. Amanda smiled faintly. Maybe. The candlelight flickered against their faces, the shape of that ancient sigil between them glowing in warm wax, watching, waiting. Scott stretched out as his str- Scott stretched out his arm, pointing out the different stars and then the smile in the sky. Yep, I was right. That smile is not as wonderful as the one you have on your face. Scott leaned in to kiss her, his lips grazing her cheek. Amanda pulled back, placing her hand to her cheek. I'm sorry. That was wrong of me. I just wanted to kiss you. I should have asked. I'm sorry, Amanda. Scott bit his lip, looking down at the candles, half spent. It's okay. Are you okay? Your lips felt cold. Maybe we should head back. I don't want you to catch a cold trying to flirt with me. Amanda bent down and blew out the candles, allowing them to cool before placing them back into her pocket. Scott was quiet on the walk back. Amanda stole a glance at him. His jaw was tight, hands stuffed deep in his jacket pockets. He wasn't cold, was he? The air had grown damp with mist, but she'd seen him walk shirtless into the ocean once without blinking. No, this was something else. You okay? She asked softly. Yeah, he said too fast. Just tired. They reached her front steps. Amanda paused, turning to him. About earlier. No, Scott interrupted gently, avoiding her eyes. You don't have to say anything. I crossed a line. You didn't, she said. You just surprised me. Then quieter, in a good way. He looked up, startled. I'll see you tomorrow, Amanda added, halfway hoping he'd ask to stay a little longer. But Scott just nodded. Yeah, of course. He turned to leave. Amanda hesitated, then reached out, catching the sleeve of his jacket. He stopped. She leaned in and pressed a soft kiss to his cheek, lingering just long enough to feel the chill of his skin again, cooler than it should have been. Good night, Scott, she said with a smile, stepping back. He didn't speak at first, just stared at her with wide, searching eyes, like he was memorizing her. Then he blinked and turned quickly, hurrying down the street without another word. Amanda closed the door, heart fluttering, cheeks warm. She leaned against the wood, staring out at the dark. He's just nervous, she told herself. That's all. First kisses are awkward. That's normal, right? Scott rounded the block and ducked into the alley behind his house, breath hitching. He pressed his back to the cold stone wall, shoulders heaving. His skin pulsed, fingers stiffened. The ache behind his eyes flared again. Not yet, he thought. Please, not yet. He curled his hand into a fist and pressed it against his chest, feeling the faint but unmistakable texture beneath the skin, like stone beneath flesh. The family's gargoyle curse was waking in him, and tonight, for the first time in a long time, he didn't want to go up. Not when Amanda had kissed him like that. Not when he had something to lose. Dun dun dun.
I was
Yeah,
watching Rick.
I know I've missed a few episodes. I know I've probably missed some important context clues in regards to who's who. Sir, the moment you said his lips were cold, I fucking knew. Mm, sir. Also, I have to say, I'm very intrigued. Anna, Amelia, Amanda. Three names that begin and end with A.
Agnes.
Agnes doesn't end with A, but
no,
Oh,
but they all
sorry.
start with A.
they all
Yeah.
start with A. But those three all start and end with A.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably be intrigued.
Not me over here using the Undertaker's death knell bell toll on the soundtrack. That's all I have to say.
Are you telling me that I'm on a highway to hell?
That's gonna look like a vacation trip compared compared to what you're due for.
Well, I
six
do have
weeks.
6 weeks, so she has a
Oh,
chance for 6 more chapters
for
before
for
she
for
can.
for those two to deal with, you're not on a schedule with me, sir.
Yeah, I don't have to worry until you come to America.
Or we go to
If you're,
Canada.
I
Yeah,
don't have a passport. Sorry.
for obvious reasons, I'm not getting into that topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ah.
So, any thoughts? Any ideas? Anything you want to share now, or forever hold your peace? Is
I think I made myself clear.
clear as granite.
We're watching you. That's what it is. We are straight up watching you.
Cash. 5 weeks, Patrick.
I mean, I was about ready.
I see this being discussed in length, or at least out of context for a lot of people, but it's gonna be funny as for shit for us. Sitting at a freaking table in the middle of a freaking bar,
Yeah,
having this conversation, and everybody's just gonna look at us like we've lost our ever loving minds and be like, "We're writers. Never mind, you're here for the book convention. Here's a drink."
legitimately. Absolutely. All right. Now,
The next one for this evening.
next one for
I, I,
this evening. I have not seen Stavros in the comments yet tonight. But
I have not.
keep in mind there is a request on this. Stavros is trying to figure out if this particular one seems to be sci-fi or portal fantasy. Which, I mean, portal fantasy to me can be fantasy and it can be sci-fi, and of course there's also the subgenre of science
Sci
fantasy.
fantasy.
So, um,
It depends on
she,
what creates the portal to begin with. The portal is either created by fantasy or by science. That's what determines whether it's portal fantasy or science fiction.
they, there we go. So, if we keep that in mind, Stavros would like some feedback. So, and a pronunciation key. I'll. Okay, I think I've got them. The breath labored out of her lungs as the remains of the enemy left Marcy and her research group with nothing but scraps of underwear on their bodies. They had been assigned to understand the odd properties of the cave where people had disappeared, except as they entered, water filled the entrance, and they were trapped in the upper cavern of the cave. The only way out was through an exit that seemed to have something odd about it. She couldn't put her finger on it, but her gut told her the forest on the other side of the entrance wasn't Earth. The trees and foliage were nothing like she had ever seen before. They were odd colors of green and purple. Some were too large to exist in any forest on Earth. The creatures that ambushed them weren't normal either. A variety of gray, green, blue, and purple shades of alien rushed them and took whatever they deemed worthy, which was anything but the food. Sorry, my alarm clock was going off, telling me that it is 10 o'clock, and the dulcet tones of Jordan Hersey, my buddy from work, coming out of my phone just kind of always makes me feel good. Anyway, moving right along. Did they even eat? Marcy had no idea. Their build was like a muscular man with swirls and stripes of a darker hue with a lighter color base similar in color. They stood taller than the research group and more malicious than anything she had seen before. The way they ripped off the clothes from their bodies and destroyed anything they had before leaving in a rush. She shook her head from the thoughts as two of the men in her group approached the cave exit. Marcy nudged a foot past, and when nothing happened, she crouched before finding shelter in the foliage by the edge of the rock of the cave. There was creatures similar to mammoths, but smaller. They rammed into nearby trees and left a chill down Marcy's spine. She crept closer to a bush, attempting to hide better until her hand found a calf. Slowly she looked up and met the clearest blue eyes she had ever seen, like seeing a cloudless blue sky with a straight horizon that goes on forever. He was similar in size to the aliens from before, but this one felt like someone she had seen before, and yet he seemed foreign at the same time. Salve, ego sum Cassius. Her eyebrows furrowed. She couldn't understand what he was saying, but it seemed familiar. He gestured to the group to follow him. Marcy glanced behind her, the group a range of suspicious, concerned, or nervous. She doubted they could really refuse, though. We might as well follow him. This place looks foreign. She shrugged to her companions. Their silence answered to the lack of argument to learn more and get safe. Marcy followed the alluring alien man to a village. The forest was unlike anything she had seen before. The leaves looked like they were bursting with color and bleeding vibrancy. It was like a part of her filled as she processed what had happened since they had entered that cave. She hadn't realized she was breathing for the first time, even though Marcy had lived for 28 years. They entered a village of men, women, and children of varied colors of blue and human tones. Murmurs followed them as they entered, some curious, others more nonchalant, like they had seen humans before. Maybe the missing humans from their realm that disappeared in the cave came here. Hic est ubi hominis manent, the male said to Marcy as he gestured to a large tent beside a brick structure similar to camp shower bathrooms. She went to follow, but the male held a hand out in front of her to stop her, pausing the entire group. Marcy was in charge of this group, and they wouldn't leave her side, most of them introverts by nature. Dr. Summers, why is he stopping us? A small young woman behind her said. The male glanced between them, clearly not understanding what was being said, but waiting patiently. His hand gestured to her to stay, but swept for the rest of the group to move along. Hic est meus homo. His deep voice rang through her as his eyes met hers first before sweeping over the group. Homo? Human. Her eyes widened. Holy Aladdin's genie, he was speaking Latin. Her eyes met the others, specifically falling on one of her male interns, though apparently she stared too long in stunned silence because the male growled. Marcy's head whipped to meet his eyes. We don't know what they intend yet, so I would just follow what they want, she urged. But one of her male colleagues interjected before another growl came and the male's arms surrounded Marcy in a protective stance. Like a caveman claiming, me, man. Oh, dear Lord. If it wasn't for the current situation, she would facepalm. Then a sound came from the male's throat. It was hypnotic as she stared in his eyes. As Marcy's eyes swallowed his gaze, she could imagine the parts of her brain connected to hypnosis and pheromones going in overdrive. It wasn't necessarily that he smelt good, but something about him was so appealing she felt like crawling inside him and never leaving. It wasn't until the rest of her group walked into the tent she realized he had basically done some freaky alien thing to make her pliable. What the frick did you just do? She mostly muttered to herself as he couldn't understand her. The male swept her up into his arms and carried her across the square of homes and tents. He stepped into what looked like a hall. Hominum meum denique reperi, he declared the foreign Latin words to the crowd lounging in the hall. Many stood up to cheer and applaud whatever he said. She only really recognized the derivat- derivative of human from homo, but no idea what he was saying about her. Tibi gratulor, some of the other aliens cheered. She squinted as she tried to piece the words. Gratul, congratul. Her eyes widened as Marcy's face whipped to his smug face. Congratulations? But for what? What were they congratulating him for, and what did it involve her outside her sudden need for the bathroom and the warmth filling her like nothing before? I knew there was a reason that I picked a bout chicka wow wow sound for this week. She squirmed as she tried to find something similar to a restroom here, unless they just relieved themselves in the forest. Oh, dear Lord, she needed down now. Marcy's head whipped around looking for something, anything to relieve herself. Then she saw a body unmoving off in the corner. Is that a dead body? She yelped. Stop screaming. I promise I'll clean it up before the others arrive. A voice echoed in her mind. Why in the love of pixie dust is there a dead body just sitting off to the side like it's an average Tuesday? Her voice rang high and cracked. Kia est, the handsome alien holding her raised an eyebrow at her as he placed her down on a seat nearby. Why are you speaking Latin? Marcy nervously glanced at the others returning to what they were doing outside, two who were darker hues than the enthralling male. Nomen ius primari est, non sicut ab hominibus dicator. Cassius spoke out loud, but somehow the translation came through her mind easily. Its name is Primari, not as it is said by humans. Her eyes widened in mystifying horror. I don't know that we have enough to determine if this is sci-fi, science fantasy, portal fantasy, or what.
Mm-mm.
Not enough yet.
I'm leaning a little bit towards the sci-fi only because of the existence of Latin, and I tend to associate Latin with science. But that's a personal thing for me. So
No, you're fine, Stavros.
I have my opinion. Um, I'm going more with a sci-fi fantasy.
No, you're fine, Stavros. And Stavros and I had talked the other day that what she's trying to do for the Promptcast is to develop her pantsing skill, right? And so, and we like to challenge on the show, right? All of Crossroads was done out of order because that is outside Julie's comfort zone, right? And normally she has to write everything linearly. So, Stavros, good on you for trying to, challenge yourself, go outside your normal mode of doing things. And, maybe it's not you. Maybe you need to do a little bit more planning before you get back into it. So,
not
abs-
everyone's a pantser.
not everybody's a pantser. Not everyone's a plotter. I like to think of myself as a quilter because, like, I do spurts of different scenes that come to me, and then I start putting them in the proper order and realizing what I'm missing and put things together. So then I stitch all the quilt squares together.
Did I miss where the prompt was in the story, or did she not use it?
Didn't use it for this one.
No, she used it.
Okay.
Um,
Used an older one.
she used
Yes,
an
I
older
did
one.
notice that. I did notice that she used the body one.
All right. Please hold. Be- I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, a slight intermission, everybody. Let us know how you're enjoying the show tonight. Let's light up them comments. At this particular time, if we were over on TikTok, I'd be like, "Come on, people, tapping is clapping."
Right?
But we don't have that function, so it's like, you know how weird it is to not have to say that anymore. That
That became one of the slogans over there.
Yeah, tapping is clapping. Sharing is caring. Now we still do the sharing is caring, but
Hmm.
it's a little hard to share it. It's like, where are you gonna share it to?
Whenever Nick streams, I share his Twitch link to people in my Discord channels. But
Right.
other than that, I can't really think of anywhere. Apparently, Jen got her copy of Luck of the Mobster today, so she's really excited.
I will probably be ordering it next week when I order my books. Um, that way I have it to go with the rest of my, or with the whole collection right there on the
Yeah,
shelf.
got that nice pop of emerald green up there.
Right. Um, but no, I want
What?
you to stew on that because I'm not going to tell you whether that's a threat or not. I am merely going to say take it at your own
Peril.
suggestion. Like, I'm going to tell you if it's a threat. I'm like, I hope your pillow's too damn soft and your drink is just fucking bit too cold or too hot.
It took me a full extra day to get the physical copy out because Amazon is such a.
Butthead.
I don't know if I can use the C word on Twitch. Nick, can I use the C word on Twitch? Am We're set for 18 plus, right?
Yes, we're set for 18 plus.
Yeah. Amazon's being a royal cunt when it comes to my physical manuscript. It kept saying like I would submit it. It's like no, doesn't work. I submit it. No, doesn't work. Like over and over again. Couldn't for life me figure out what it was. Finally, I went digging through my actual manuscript looking for it. Turns out I didn't set my margins to mirror. They were all set to left side. So it was throwing off my margins throughout the entire book. And I'm looking around like I gave my margins half, almost a full inch at one point. What is going on? But once I figured out a little mistake, I was able to fix it, and then it went through without an issue. So always double and triple check every single point before you go off the deep end because the littlest thing will throw Amazon off.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, we are very well aware. As there have been what three books loaded in less than 2 months, 3 months.
Yep.
And I would not be surprised if before before we go to our event. Where's my
If
camera?
Jed if Jed's not ready yet.
Yeah, I would. He's already avidly working on it. On top of our little friend Dahlia that I sent to him, he likes it. He's like, you sent me somebody. I'm like, maybe. He's like, you sent me a Canadian, didn't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like,
I
I'm already working on her stuff.
I just got finished her cover for the book about the crush that she's writing, and I'm really excited for it now. It's very short. It's barely long enough to qualify for print, but that means it's gonna be so easy to gobble it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I've already done it.
Yeah.
She sent it to me the other day because she was having issues with figuring out wording,
Mm.
Yeah.
and I'm
Like
like,
I
hey, we got this. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
I couldn't even put the title on the spine because
Oof.
it's too thin.
Oh wow.
I think it's only like it's less than 3,400 or a little more than 3,400 words.
To
Oh
be fair
wow.
though, one of the most profound pieces of writing that I ever read growing up was The Lottery, and I think that was
Oh,
3 pages.
yeah.
So,
I okay, okay. Are we in Kira mode tonight?
oh,
Oh, we got a pretty kitty. Pretty kitty.
he's a kitty kitty.
Mm, okay.
He's like, I
Oh, someone's
love.
snuggling.
It's okay. One of the people or friends that was helping me out when we didn't have a car, uh, showed up here the other day, and she's like, "Please take this. It's a 6 week old kitten, just old enough to be weaned." And I'm like, "I can't." And
Yeah.
she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Cause it's a male." Now, if she
Ew.
brought me a female, I've been like, "Okay, give me the baby. I'll talk to you later." But no, brought me and very sassy, very voicey, very sassy. I did not want to not take the kitten.
I'm not gonna
So
lie. I'd rather
I
have all
said,
male cats than females, but you know.
I rather have females than males, but I also have to be very careful with females because it's like I can't let them get out. You know,
Mhm.
That's why.
yeah.
That is why I'd rather deal with the males because it's also usually cheaper to get them neutered than
It's
it
snip
is
snip.
for a female to get spayed. And if they get out, who's going to pay for a paternity test?
Right,
They
It's
right.
they
easier to
The
snip
kitten
off some nuts and bolts than it is to unplug an oven.
I mean that's
right.
literally the fact that that voidling came to me without a chopped ear, right? Because around here community cats after they get fixed, they take a tip off of their ear. His ears are intact, but he was acting like he was a female in heat, and he was young enough, or at least what I thought was young enough. That's why I thought he was a she for so long. And now he's kind of
Well,
both.
that
So,
and the way he they were throwing themselves at another cat.
yeah, throwing his ass in the air in front of the other cat's face and whatnot. It just
We honestly thought that Kieran was Kira.
yup.
And actually, depending on what day it is and what they're doing, whether it's Kieran or Kira.
That is 100% facts, which is really um oh crap. That means that I have on any given day 3 males, 4 females, and then other days it's 2 males, 5 females. There's too much estrogen in this house. Mother frick.
Nick keeps saying the moment I'm ready for a new cat, he's gonna get me a red kitten, and I'm so excited.
Aw. There you go.
Because
Hey, if you were close
I
enough,
will,
I have the
yeah,
perfect one
no.
for you.
Julie, when you literally said you had a kitten sat on your doorstep, there's a reason I immediately started pouting, like, oh,
It's like
both
if you
you
were
and,
close enough, it would be no. I have Midnight and Nikki. Midnight wants to socialize, or no, Midnight doesn't want to socialize, but Nikki wants to socialize. So
Literally I
when I let them out during the day, because I only let them out for a certain amount of time,
right.
because I don't need Midnight getting back under the sink and then dropping under the house, and then we got to play the catch the kitten game. Um, but no, I gladly give you Midnight with her orange her orange, well, they're more like orange gold eyes,
mm,
and she's a pure black cat, and it's like, here you go, have a voidling. By the
And
way,
You and
she's social like you, so it works.
seems like you and Izzy are constantly getting cats that you need to find homes for, and I'm sitting over here too far away, going, "Come on!"
And here's the thing: it's because by the time I catch Mama Kitty to bring her in to get her fixed, so she stops the cat distribution center here. Um, we don't get anything.
mhm.
She's already pregnant again.
Yeah, she's already knocked up.
So, and I'm sorry, I don't care if it's a human or a cat or an animal of any sort. I can't have, and this is just me. I don't care what anybody else's political views are or their personal views are. I'm not, unless it's going to be a danger to that particular thing. Um, I can't do it. And she's healthy enough to have another litter. We're just waiting, and then just as soon, literally just as soon as they're winged, I'm trapping her and I'm taking her down and getting her fixed.
Fair.
Unless by chance this litter doesn't survive, and then I'm immediately trapping her and taking her down and getting her fixed.
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely fair.
Because we have a new male in the area, and now my two indoor cats that are old enough to be in heat are in heat because they're going under the windows and spraying,
Mm.
setting my flipping females off. And I'm like, "Ah." So
Oops, turning off my mic. All right. So, intermission done. We have one more tonight.
we're ending out on a fairly, or actually the longest one of the night,
Yes.
and one that looks very promising, but it's Kesh's. So Kesh is always one of those that's like it could go one of 100 ways.
Mhm. Now, I'll throw one more thing at you. It's a chapter entitled Poker Night.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, it's a chapter. I thought maybe it was a new short story.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope. We are back in Etlon. And it is not from the prompt, but uh, Kesh basically was like, I want to help increase the word
The
count
word count.
because if you haven't been paying attention or haven't been with us this whole time, we are doing a million word challenge where by the end of the year, all of the words that have been written for the weekly Promptcast and put out there are tallied up. According to my numbers over here on our tally sheet, we reached 8,250 words tonight. So
I got 8,449. Where did I mess up?
I took all four of them had their word count in there.
I always put mine in. It's one of our requirements.
It is one of the requirements. We do ask in the subject line or in the beginning of your email that you put your word count in there to make it easier for us. So I just typed it into the new
I think I might have
tracking
got
thing.
Starbucks pronunciation guide when I did it.
Oh, yeah, she actually had her word count all the way at the in the footer.
Oh, okay.
But that's all right. That's all right.
Well,
We are
I will
keeping
take word count.
yep. And so what is our do I have a total?
Well, my running total, but I've got the wrong number. So, my running total is 241,306 words.
I have a lot more writing I need to do.
Okay. So, according to the math, because I went back through and pulled everything together and put it into this document so that it's a running document. There we go. And I have it doing the math for me to have the words thus far and how many are left for the year. So we are currently at 235,865 words submitted and read out on the Hold My Pen Promptcast. So we are starting the 5th month of the year. So we've got 4 months down, and we still have 764,000 and some change left. So
I think we're off on the count.
we can look at it later. I'll show you what I've got on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I even have it in January, we had 23 submissions over the course of the whole month, 30 in February, 33 in March, and 26 in April. I've got lots of stats. We know how I get a little horny for spreadsheets.
Yeah.
All right, and last but not least tonight is Kesh back into Etlon, more of Suki and Lucy. Now, she's promised that there's not a lot of trolling of me in this, so we'll see. Suki rode up to the house she shared with her best friend Lucy. She cut the engine of her chrome Kawasaki, the detailed picture of a dragon's head making it one of the most distinctive bikes in the area. She walked up the front lawn and opened the garage door, pulling the bike in and placing it by the wall in front of her beater car she had for when the weather was too much for her bike. She pressed the close button to the garage and then removed her helmet, placing it on the handlebar of the bike. She popped open the storage compartment and pulled out a 12-pack of the shittiest beer known to man, carrying it into the house with her. She was greeted with Lady Radio's latest album blasting out of the stereo system. Just over the music, she could hear what sounded like fire engines racing by, not sure if it was part of the music or not. It was the same routine they had practiced every Thursday night for the past 3 years. Poker night. This was the one night every week that the 5 women looked forward to. They were always disappointed when one of them couldn't make it or it had to be canceled. It was one night the women could decompress from the stress of the previous 7 days. Work, school, families, and the like. There was always a lot of alcohol and goofing off. Most of the time there was laughter at the expense of each other, and occasionally there were tears and consoling, but mostly laughter. It was the one night they could be themselves and not worry what the rest of the world thought. The one night a week they didn't have to act like ladies. Yes. Yes. No acting like ladies. Suki removed her backpack and helmet while unzipping her leather jacket as she wiped her boots off on the mat just in the entry from the garage, dropping both her helmet and jacket on the floor in the hallway to the kitchen. Lucy's head popped through the door, a gigantic grin on the other woman's face, cluing Suki in that this was going to be a fun night. The pixie bob that the precocious blonde had, one of the few external things that hinted to the woman's playful personality. "Hi, Lou," Suki said as she pulled her flip phone from her backpack, turned the sound off, and placed it back in the pouch she always carried the device in. She then placed her backpack on the counter, followed by the case of beers she had bought on her way home. She then lifted it back up and held it in front of the blonde's wide blue-gray eyes. "Ah, the dragon rider brings gifts," she giggled, snatching the 12-pack from Suki's grip, taking the offering and ripping open the cardboard package, handing one beer to each of the ladies sitting around the kitchen table. Lucy kept 2 extra out and placed the rest of the pack in the fridge next to the other offerings of beer brought for the night. "To Suki!" The 4 other women cheered in unison, raising their fresh beers in the air in salute to the party's latecomer. She pulled a $20 bill from one of the back pockets of her jeans, placing it in the center of the table on top of the poker chips. "I'm in for 40 tonight," Suki said as she threw a second 20 on top of the first. "Ooh, must have been a good tip night at the bar last night," Laura, the brunette, exclaimed as she took the 20s and handed Suki her chips. How's that road rash healing up? Laura added as Suki took her chips and placed them in front of her, waiting for the hand being played to be over so she could be dealt in. Suki winced as she sat in the chair, the fresh bite on her arm feeling like it was on fire when she brushed it against the edge of the table. It had become so common for her to come to the game night with some form of bandage after her lab times that no one asked about it. Oh, I heard about that, Sue. What on earth happened? Gina, one of the two married members of the group, asked, her eyes already glazed over from the alcohol. It wasn't much, really. I've had worse happen. I got cut off by some redneck in a giant green monster truck. I spilled and went asphalt surfing. My ass is still a little sore, but it's fine. If it had been any worse, I probably wouldn't be here tonight. I'd be up at the hospital more than likely. Suki shrugged as she picked up the hand she had been dealt by Cherry, who then chimed in. Suki, babe, you look hot in those skinny jeans. If you weren't one of my best friends and I liked women, I'd be trying to jump you right now. Suki laughed at the compliment, placing her first card on the table. Thanks for that visual, Cher, Lori said, and stuck her tongue out to show her distaste for the joke. Okay. It's not explicitly trolling. But when Kesh and I were roommates, we would routinely have our three best girlfriends over, so it was a party of 5 with alcohol, and the comments were flowing. So I'm just reliving some days gone by. Hmm. Come on, Laura, don't tell me that loser husband of yours wouldn't want you kissing on another girl. Don't even deny it, Lucy exclaimed. Lucy had seen her husband Dan at the strip club she worked at in Tampa and had run into the dressing room to text the women about it. It had started the downward spiral of their relationship, which everyone in the group was waiting for the implosion so that Laura could relax. I can't believe you are still with that toe rag, Suki said nonchalantly as she picked up a new card and then looked around at the faces of the other women to figure out how much she should bet. Please don't call him that, Suki. He's my husband. I love him. We've been together since we were in the 9th grade, was the defense she came up with. And that's the problem, Laura, came Lucy's response. He treats you like a doormat, and you stick with him? How does that make sense? You can do better. Laura threw her hand on the table and ran out of the room crying. Suki started to wonder if this game was going to turn into one of the intervention sessions they periodically had for the woman. Sherry and Gina looked at each other as if to say, whose turn is it? Sherry placed her hand down on the table and followed Laura into the other room. You think he left her again? Lucy looked around at the two remaining women at the table. Both Gina and Suki placed their cards on the table and patiently waited in silence for Sherry to convince Laura to come back to the table and get things rolling again. Yep, nice to know things never change around here, was all Suki could say. An hour later, Laura had been consoled and laughter had returned to the room. At some point, Lucy had pulled out the fedora she had inherited from her dad and produced a cigar seemingly out of thin air. No, of course not. No trolling of the Izzy. No, of course not. The whole shtick added to the card shark persona she liked to put on for their game night. Suki had unburdened herself of her combat boots and was quietly sitting crisscross in her chair, fidgeting while everyone else was paying attention to Lucy. I see your penny and I'll raise you too, Lucy exclaimed, looking up at Gina. That particular hand had become a dead heat between the two women, each trying to get the other to fold. Suki, Sherry, and Laura had all folded out. They all had agreed that neither woman had a winning hand and were now just trying to bluff the other out in a war of wills. I'll see your 2 and raise you 3, Jaina responded to Lucy's bet. Everyone else groaned, knowing this was going to last for a few more minutes. Suki stood up and stretched, and then walked over to the fridge and opened it, grabbing the 2 liter of soda that was in the door, and then walked over to the counter where the bottle of cheap whiskey was sitting and made herself a drink, putting the bottles back when she was done, heading back to the table. She took a sip of hers and realized that the other 4 were glaring at her. Suki looked around the room, trying to figure out what she did wrong. What? She finally replied, confused. Party foul, came Lucy's low whisper. Suki rolled her eyes as she realized she forgot to offer to get everyone else drinks when she had gotten hers. Come on, I'm a fucking bartender. Can I get some time for good behavior and time served? I have to get drinks for every perv and lush in Polk County. Suki was pleading for a reprieve from the consequences. She knew there was going to be no way around it. Party foul! Party foul! Party foul! The 4 other women began chanting, and Lucy stood up and became solemn. You, Suki Daniels, have hereby been convicted and are hereby subjected to the punishment for the punishment of the party foul of not offering to renew the libations of your fellows, she said. Lucy was struggling to keep herself from busting up laughing, snorting from trying to stifle her laughter. Your punishment is one of 2 choices, of which you may choose. Those choices are truth or dare. Trolling me with our past cash is stressful. Suki knew this was going to be painfully embarrassing either way. Come on, Lucy, throw me a bone here. Do I at least get to hear them before I get to choose? Suki pleaded. I'll tell you one or the other, your choice. She smiled, her $1,000,000 grin, which told Suki Lucy had been planning this for a while. Okay, I want to hear the dare. Knowing you, I think I know what truth is, Suki said, rolling her eyes. She wants to hear the dare, Lucy reassumed her ominous voice. The dare is, she started out slowly, you must strip yourself down to your bra and panties, and then you must do some of those flips you were famous for in high school, out on the lawn, by the road. She grinned as she began to giggle maniacally. Suki hung her head. She didn't know what would be worse, a potential arrest on her record for public indecency, or having to answer possibly the dumbest, most invasive question ever heard. The only question Lucy persistently asked Suki when she committed a party foul. I have to give you credit on this one, Lou. You finally came up with a dare that I just can't do because I can't afford a police record. I concede. You win. I take truth, Suki said, defeated. Oh, my blessed stars, she actually chose truth, Laura said, dumbstruck. Lucy began to speak again. Okay, here it is. You're a wolf man you dream about all the time. Have you ever had with him? She asked calmly. And you have to answer. No dodging the question, she added. Wait, what? Wolfman? Sherry asked, confused, looking between Lucy and Suki. You dream of a wolfman? Like from the horror movies? Gina asked. No, not like that. He's like a warrior or something, and he wears a mask that's a wolf, Lucy explained. This feels really immature somehow, Laura stated, trying not to laugh. Suki began to stomp her feet in dismay as she struggled not to strangle her best friend. You're not wearing underwear, are you, Sue? Sherry looked at Suki and winked. I have road rash from the back of my knees to my tramp stamp. It hurts, Suki yelled at the top of her lungs. The entire room broke into laughter. Laura laughed so hard she fell out of her chair. As soon as Suki stopped laughing, she sat in her seat and began to hope that they had laughed so hard that Lucy would forget the question and move on. Then she had an idea. Idea! Why don't we ditch the cards and go out to the hot tub? Sounds way more entertaining. Suki said, and everyone agreed, running out to the back of the house where the hot tub was located. Suki changed the radio to the 80s station as the five of them piled out to the porch and removed their clothing. They all climbed into the hot tub one at a time and settled in, looking around at each other. We forgot the towels. Laura laughed. They all shrugged, figuring they would figure it out later. After a few minutes of random chit-chat, laughing and horsing around, Lucy piped up. So, Suki, you still have a truth to answer to. Because, of course, can't let it go. Lucy poked at her friend with her feet. Suki sank into the water where just her face was clear from being submerged. I am not going to be happy until I get my answer, girlie, and that is my final answer. The blonde arched an eyebrow as she tucked some of her chin-length hair behind one of her ears. All right already. If I answer the stupid question, will you please never ask me that type of question ever again? Suki emphasized. I can always tell when she's had a dream with this wolfman because she's always a little more cheery in the mornings than she normally is. Suki 1000% is not a morning person, Lucy mentioned. You're hopeless, Suki said as she splashed water Lucy's direction. All right, break it up, you two. Sue, just answer the question already and get it over with, Gina interjected. I want a promise from her first, Suki replied. Okay, I get the message, Suki. I'm sorry if it offends you for whatever reason. I'm just trying to have fun, though, Lucy answered. It's old, is what I think Sue is getting at, Lucy. Am I right? Sherry asked Suki. Exactly, Cher, the redhead replied as she submerged herself up to her chin again. Okay, then. Is it settled? Gina asked both women. Yes, they answered in unison. Then the two of you may proceed, then. Lucy, if you will please remind us what the question was, Gina asked, trying to sound like a debate moderator. Suki chuckled as she started to feel tipsy. Lucy took a breath and began to restate her question. My question was, Suki, do you have in your dreams about Wolfman? Lucy looked at her expectantly. First, I want to know why you're so invested in knowing what I do in my dreams. Suki gave a question of her own. Touche, Suki. I would be happy to. It's because I'm nosy. And I'm invested in the story that seems to be unfolding with these dreams of yours. She gave the answer while looking at Suki. Wow. See what happens when you explain your reason? Suki shrugged and looked at Lucy. Yes, came the reply. I knew it. What's it like? Lucy asked. Suki shook her head. I answered the question. Not going to expand on that. That info stays in my dream, Suki replied. Lucy slumped her shoulders in disappointment. I just want the juicy details. It's not like you... I don't know. It's not like you for me to get it that way, Lucy whined. Juicy details stay in my head for me and me alone. Suki was going to keep her secrets. Fine, Dragon Rider. Lucy blew her friend a kiss and winked. Dragon Rider? That crotch rocket she has in the garage? Laura seemed confused about what Lucy meant. Oh my god, please don't tell me you missed when Suki came back from her tagging trip down in the Everglades. That shit is classic Suki. Lucy looked at Laura with wide eyes. You poor thing, you haven't had the pleasure of hearing the story of Sue going for a ride on the back of a 9-foot gator? Sherry asked Laura, who seemed lost. I'm still fucking fuming about how the whole thing with Gabe was handled. Suki's demeanor changed entirely. Well, gotta get the deets now. Tell the story. Laura got excited. Remember about 6 months ago when I came home with stitches on my inner thighs? Yeah, that's how that happened, Suki said. She continued. So the university has a research station a little south of I-75 off Alligator Alley. Anyways, he had already started in with his bullshit that morning when I was making a cup of coffee. He came up behind me and grabbed my ass, so I slapped him right across his stupid face. It pretty much was downhill from there, Suki began. So I was there to get population statistics to help with my research. Mike was taking blood and tissue samples, and I have no fucking clue what Gabe does with gators because I don't give a shit. So anyways, we got to the station, and right away I spotted a really big gator. So we dropped everything and took the little boat we had access to and caught him. Hauled him up. Got him tied up so we could take the measurements and samples we needed. So while I was trying to control Big Boy and keep his jaws closed, Gabe decided it would be a good idea to make a comment about how I have a sweet ass. Evidently, the gator didn't like the comment either because it proceeded to stand up, bucked Gabe off its back, and tried to run. Somehow, my foot got tangled in one of the ropes still attached to the poor thing and it ran, with me on its back. God damn, those scoots hurt. I was wearing pretty thick jeans and they still tore skin. So, anyway, somewhere between the gator hitting the water and it swimming away down the channel, I fell off and got dragged behind it through the swamp. The gator eventually got tired and I was able to get a handle on a mangrove root, and I just sat there holding on to the rope while the gator just sat there, probably exhausted. The two of us just waiting. Eventually, Chuck and Amy found me, untied the gator, got me out of the water, and brought me back to the research station so that I could get taken to the ER. If Gabe had been at the dock when we had gotten back, I would have tore him a new one. She finished the rundown of events, not including that someone had the brilliant idea of getting Gabe out of Suki's vicinity and away from the rest of the trip. The whole thing had ruined part of her research. I had ice packs on my legs for weeks. It was probably one of the worst accidents I've had in a while. She finally concluded the story. Weren't you scared that the alligator's friends might try to help it? Laura was mystified by the whole thing. Alligators aren't really communal in the wild, Suki answered. But the point is, you are officially a dragon rider now because of it, Lucy interjected with a huge grin on her face. It's an alligator, not a dragon. Alligators real, dragons not so real, she shot back at Lucy. Dragon rider, Lucy reiterated. Whatever. Suki rolled her eyes. Now we just got to get your dream guy out of the dreams and into real life. You also neglected the best part about Loverboy, Sue. Lucy smirked. I wish I had never told you about that. Suki's face went to a scowl. Oh, get this. He has pointed ears, like an elf. You know, like Lord of the Rings shit. Lucy's blonde hair bounced in her giddiness. She was always overly ecstatic about anything to do with elves. Lucy, here's the deal. If I ever have the chance to have sex with an actual elf, you will be the first person I call and tell about it. Pinky promise. She interlocked pinky fingers with her friend, her voice dripping with sarcasm. All five women broke into gut busting laughter. Suki was standing in the dream forest. She could smell the pine and feel everything. Her bare feet crunched on the evergreen needles across the ground as she circled around looking for him. Sometimes he didn't show up when she did, but most of the time, they both just appeared around the same time. She vaguely remembered climbing out of the hot tub and crawling up to her room in a drunken stupor, having had way too many rum and cokes by the time everyone else was ready to crash. So she made the climb to the second floor and her room, somehow. Here, she wasn't feeling the alcohol in her system at all. She heard a crunch from someone stepping on the pine needles behind her, and she turned, smiling. There he stood, looking at her with his deep blue eyes from beneath the black wolf mask. Sometimes he was in his full costume, sometimes he wasn't, but she always saw his eyes. Right then, his eyes were looking at her standing there in a t-shirt and panties, the right side of his mouth upturned in a partial smile, the left part of his face partially paralyzed from the scar that traced from his mouth to his ear. She remembered when he had appeared with the wound stitched up. Whatever had happened, it had looked like it had tore his cheek wide open. That had also been the first time she had kissed him, and things had just evolved from there over the years. I really wish you were real, she told him. He looked at her like he always did when she spoke. He had no idea what she had said, but it was the same the other way as well. He took another step towards her, looking her over as he began to walk around her. He stopped and reached for her bandaged arm where the snake had bit her. Tapping on the bandage with his gloved hand, his posture seemed to ask, what happened this time? She imagined that he was as frustrated with her many accidents as everyone else around her was. He slowly shook his head and looked at her, a lock off his long block a lock of his long black hair falling forward over the fur cloak that sat on his broad shoulders, matching the black fur of the wolf face mask he wore most of the time anymore. Zokara, he asked, his deep voice seeming to resonate through the clearing they were standing in. He pointed to her injury again. She had figured out in her late teens that he was calling her that, like it was her name. She had tried to correct him multiple times, but he never called her by her name. She had let it go a while ago. In response to what she assumed was his question about the bite, she unwrapped it and showed him. She expected the V shaped bite of the python, but instead she saw a ribbon of skin that had fallen away from her arm, revealing a patch of skin that was her skin, but with a shimmery gold undertone. She looked up at him and shrugged, not knowing what it meant. He looked back at her with alarm. Zokara, you are starting to shed. You need to come home, he told her. She looked at him in confusion, not understanding his words. She just shook her head, not knowing or understanding. I will tell everyone when I wake up. You've started shedding. We need to get you home to Etlon before it's too late. He hoped that she at least understood the urgency in his voice. She looked at him blankly. Of course, she had no idea of what was happening to her. She had been lost in the human world when she had been a small child, with no idea of who or what she was. So she had no idea of the peril she was in if she shed and had her first transformation to her true form in the human world, the mindless beast she would become. He did what he always did and drew his cloak around her, drawing her close to him. She at least understood that. So Kara laid her head on his chest, her long coppery hair hanging over her shoulder. He laid his cheek on the top of her head, just holding her. They stood together for a while until she became light and drifted away into a deeper sleep, leaving his embrace empty. He lowered his arms as he allowed himself to drop into a deeper sleep. Prince Wayun woke with a start. He looked around, trying to get his bearings, remembering that he and his pack brothers had been on patrol along the borders of the Deadlands and were currently making their way back to the Great Hall to begin preparing for battle with the King of Death and his forces. They had camped for the night, and he sat down to rest after his turn on guard duty. He stood up, looking around. Everything well, Wolf? Reinhardt, his human third in command, looked up from the fire. Yes, no, not all is well. Zokara, he was having trouble remembering what was so urgent. Sometimes he had a hard time coming out of the sleep where he met her on the dream plane. The princess have another accident? The human asked. Yes, she's shedding. Where is Kerr? I need him to fly to the Verdant Palace to alert them so that whatever is being done to bring her home needs to be done now. He looked for their Dragon Pack brothers' distinctive badger headdress amongst the sleeping Oskorai. He found him, waking the dragon up. Kerr, brother, he said, shaking the brown dragon to wake him. After a minute, the dragon's brown eyes opened, looking up at his leader. Wolf, what is it? The dragon said sleepily, blinking his eyes several times. It's Zokara. She started her shed. I need you to fly and alert my father. Tell him that whatever is being done to bring her back from the human world needs to be done now, the prince explained. The dragon shot up immediately and looked up at his leader. Of course. The dragon removed his furs, quickly placing them on his horse's saddle. I'll rejoin the pack at back at the Great Hall, Kerr said as he walked off away from where the rest of the pack was sleeping. Wayun walked back over to the fire, rejoining Reinhardt, standing as he watched the brown dragon begin the transformation to his true form. They watched as he disgorged his blood sacrifice, spitting to the side as his body began to shift and change. The elf prince had chose Kerr specifically because he was the fastest flyer in the pack. He knew that the dragon would be at the elven palace within 2 hours. The dragon extended his wings as he began to bound away, jumping into the air and finally taking flight. He disappeared into the night within several rhythmic beats of his wings. I hope that the princess can be recovered in time, Reinhardt said, looking worriedly at Wayun. All the elf prince could do was nod as a grim look settled on his face. Dun dun dun.
Cash.
I have a question. I have a question. The dare that Suki was challenged with? the was that based on real life? Is that accurate?
No. Or at least not me and Kesh. It might have been one of our other girlfriends. But
Okay. See,
yeah,
I was
no.
sitting here thinking the whole time, which one of them is getting called out real hard right now?
I mean, the whole truth or dare kind of thing, the asking the stupid questions.
Oh, sure, sure.
Sure,
That
sure.
that dare seemed very specific, so I was wondering if it was a reference. Hey, we just got a raise!
Hey, we did get a raid. Oh,
Yay!
Kesh said one of her friends down in Florida.
There you go. Oh God, that's
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you, Unboxing
you.
the Archive, thank you. I feel really bad for the timing because we just got finished telling our last story.
Well, but we still have rolling.
We still have the voting, yes.
Oh, yes. Muhaha, more writers for my collection. Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
We are more writers. We are a whole group of writers.
Okay. And thank you very much for pointing that out. We're going to do a quick recap. I am Julie Fisher, author of Destined for More, Four Kings Before Kings series, The Dustin Chronicles, and the new
Still
one
have my
that
book.
just released back in March, Crossroads, my very first Mafia. You have or PA Power, also known as Patrick. You have the Chimera Wolf series, so you have the Chimera Wolf, Chimera Clan. Then you have Decoding Shady Pines and the uh, Peter Pan retelling, Kingdom of Shadows. Uh, then you have over here, well, wait a minute, technically below me. I forget backstage, we're in different spots.
Yeah.
Then you have directly below me, you have C.R. McCormick, author of the Dolan Syndicate series, which you have My Neighbor's a Mobster, Mobster Under the Mistletoe, uh,
Come on.
think of Playing for a Mobster.
There you go.
I was like, well, I don't know why Playing for a Mobster, and I just read that one. So it's like I don't know why that one's so like right there. And then you have Mobster in the PTA, and then
Yep.
just released Monday, the first, or I'm sorry, Wednesday the first. You have Luck of the Mobster,
Yes.
Ooh,
and
seen.
you have our lovely co-host, uh, Izzy Kraus, that is one of our new to come.
If I can ever get around to finishing any of them.
Right, right.
Yay for authors with ADHD!
Yeah, that's why I have three. Well, currently three different series is going on at once.
So
Hey.
Blitzer or Bitzer K says I've seen those on Blue Sky. Seen what on Blue Sky? PA Power Books?
Probably because I have them everywhere.
I am following as many of these raiders as possible right now.
Gotcha.
Nice, nice. Awesome sauce.
I don't have my books. They're in the other house, or else I would show them off.
Please.
I would get them off the shelf, but then my
Oh, it's
shelf will
alright.
like
It's
fall
alright.
over. So I'm like,
Hey, mine are downstairs.
Izzy always has them on hand. I can always just get. There we go.
there you go.
The only one I'm missing is Luck of the Mobster. But we got I think My Neighbor, Mobster Under the Mistletoe. I think I'm Playing for a Mobster, and the Mobster in the PTA.
Which I do need to get to the mobster and the PTA next, due to the certain things that were said in Look of a Mobster. Because now I have to find out about Atticus. It's like
You
and
do.
now it's one of those.
I love Atticus so much.
All right, so now we roll. We roll
Yes,
for our
It's
prompts
fun.
for next week's The rule of thumb here is that Julie rolls. We pick it out of a master list that we've got, and then you, the audience, votes on which one you want to write for the following Saturday.
Yep.
All right,
And
up.
and the Raiders, you guys can vote too. It doesn't matter
Vote.
if you guys are just here for a minute. You guys get a vote too.
Yep, you get to tell us what we're gonna write about.
Yeah.
Yes. The first number is 42. Oh, are we doing this the same way we did it last week?
Yeah, I liked that.
Okay.
What did you do last week? What did you? I wasn't here last week. What did you do? What did you do?
We rolled 6 times. The first one was for the first 100. The second one was for the second 100. Instead of doing 63 or 163.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. What was the first number?
42.
42. The
Nice
answer
number.
to life and everything in it, or however that thing goes. All right. So our first ones are concepts. Ooh. Write about a society that celebrates the memories of ancestors in May.
Another month one. We get a lot of those. How
We
topical
do.
though. This month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Beltane, essentially.
92.
Ooh.
Oh, that's fine, Bitzer. Go ahead and vote and come hang out with us next week to hear what we come up with. Don't
Well,
have to
You
submit.
don't have to. You just have to vote.
Just vote. Just help us vote.
You get to tell us what to write about.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Next.
92.
92. I'm a little discombobulated because I don't have a mouse for this laptop. I've got a mouse for that laptop, and I got a computer monitor.
You're being
We've
special
got
tonight.
to get everything organized.
Reorganized.
Got a lot going on.
A lot going on. You said 92, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Interestingly enough, this one has been brought up before.
Oh, a repeat.
So it's a repeat. A mysterious package arrives on the protagonist's door.
Right.
Yeah, we have done this one because I've done it. It wasn't one we voted on, but I used it anyways.
You used it
Yep.
in the prequel for Captain Hook.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
No,
use that for
prequel for Heart of Stone.
I can't use that for the. I don't think. No, I can't use that for the enemies to lovers trapped in the house because nothing really gets delivered to that. But I could manipulate it to be a bit different.
Very interesting. Okay. Next one. 18.
Ooh.
All right.
Dice
So
are cool tonight.
they really are all over the place. So these next two are starting first lines. And there's been times where it's like that's where I started, but then I ended up putting something ahead of it. So it just the start the juice. All right, 18. Yeah, starting first line. So I suppose you want to ask me how I escaped.
That I could use for the enemies to lovers. That I can use.
I thought we've used that one before.
No,
I think it's
that's one that you and I were rolling up for. You were stuck during Crossroads, so we were just using.
Okay. That's right. That's during the Nikki. That's during the Nikki meeting Piper bar scene. 79.
Oh
What?
boy.
What is it?
With a determined gaze, he summoned lightning.
I can't use that one because the protagonists in my current story don't have magic powers. There's magic in the world, but they are pure melee. They are pure physical fighters, so I can't use that one. Look, there's something satisfying about writing a magical world, but making your two protagonists magic free because they get to be the dum dums who are brute brute force, and they have to compensate. It's fun.
35.
All right. Use this dialogue,
Which is what we always choose.
which is what you guys always choose.
Although we have more voters this time, so there's
We
less to choose
do
from.
have more voters this time. Use this dialogue. There's got to be another way.
Fine.
Okay.
Easily used.
93.
Use this dialogue. What do you mean you've lost the lottery ticket?
No. Oh, that's bad.
I very rarely vote, but I'm voting 6. Okay? I very rarely vote. All right.
That being
So
said, voting is now open.
voting is now open. I'll read them out again. 1. Concept. Write about a society that celebrates the memories of ancestors in May. Number 2. A mysterious package arrives on the protagonist's doorstep. Number 3. Starting line. So I suppose you want to ask me how I escaped. Number 4. Starting line. With a determined gaze, he summoned lightning. Number 5. Dialogue. There's got to be another way. Number 6. Dialogue. What do you mean you've lost the lottery ticket? Steam powered giraffe. I need to know
I
what
mean,
that I need to know.
Izzy, do you not know what steam powered giraffe is?
No, I do not know what steam powered giraffe is.
Okay. Okay, so they're a band, first of all, but they're like it's not just a band. It's like this it's like an act, and they're like it's like pantomime with robots and puppetry, and there's ballet,
Oh.
and there's like projections. Like it's so cool. Steampunk
Huh.
band. Yeah, that's a good way to put. That's a good way to put it.
Okay. Steam.
They're really cool. They're really cool.
I mean, at the very least, it sounds like the production value is very
Oh yeah.
interesting. The
We
question
have
is,
Counting Izzy's vote. We have
3 for 6,
Izzy's
and
vote. We have 3 for 6. And one
Bitzer
for
says
two.
number 2. Toop
What
toop.
was
Are
number
we
3
saying
again?
number 3 is starting line? So I suppose you want to ask me how I escaped.
Mm. I know I'll have to go with 6.
All right.
We don't have Stavros in here anymore.
Nope, doesn't look like it.
I think Kesh is our only regular. And Trisha. Trisha's here too. Okay.
We do have a couple of
There's
people
four
hanging
votes to
out.
six now.
I knew what you meant,
Tube
Bitzer.
tube.
I
Yeah,
knew what
no,
you meant.
we figured it out. It's like,
I'm pretty sure I've heard YouTube be called tube tube on something else because you can't legally say YouTube, so they called it something else. I was like,
I think we've always called it like the tube of you,
yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
or
say it was called
or
tube
the
tube on Owl House.
university.
yeah. I usually say YT. Okay. Anyone else want to vote on what we write on next week? And again, don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to submit
You
anything,
can,
You
but
can. You
can.
absolutely can.
you
And
can.
on our profile there is a link to our beacons page where you can get signed up for the newsletter. You get all of these options on Sunday afternoon
Hmm.
in your inbox and can go over to our YouTube channel where we've got some old episodes edited and put up there and see how far we've come. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But I've got them written down. I've got steam powered or
I mean, if you want to drop a link in the
yeah.
chat, there's no problem with that. No, there's no
Okay.
problem with it at all.
Shar is our Ms. McCormack is our Twitch expert at this point.
Oh,
Oh, maybe it didn't. I
I think
may
you may have it
have
disabled.
I may have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have it disabled.
I may have just to protect us from spammy
But
type
you've
stuff,
got
which makes
which
sense.
which is fair. You've got them written down though.
I do have them written down and I will have to take a look at that. But ooh, I'm writing on the wrong keyboard.
I mean, I can send her the link. I've got the. I'll send her the link in Discord. I'll get her. I'll get it taken
Yes,
care of.
and that speaking of
I'll
the
make sure.
Discord. So we're here, we're on YouTube. We've got a Beacons link, a Beacons website, a newsletter. We've also got our Discord where we pretty much hang out. This show is on there completely uncensored and I'm not doing all the talking. I actually shut up every now and again over there.
I mean, normally we split up the reading, but there were only four submissions tonight, and you just
Right.
do such a good job.
Aww. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Kesh. We live on Discord. That is
Yep.
absolutely true. When I'm not at work
Yep.
or we're not here, I'm in Discord. To the point where my children are jealous of the time I spent. And I'm like, excuse me, you're grown ass adults. My children are grown as adults. Like, get some friends.
There, I have the link for
I
Steampunk's draft
Yep.
posted in the general chat.
All right.
But
So I
I
do
think that means
believe we are. What do you mean you've lost the lottery ticket?
Yep, yep.
Ooh! Thank you for joining us, Bitzer. Can't wait to get to know you better.
Oh
All
yeah.
right.
And then, are we still under that same rule, Mister Fisher?
Yes.
Oh yeah, oh, absolutely.
Oh, sorry, you're over here. I keep looking at you over there, but you're over there.
So we have to do the last 30 days. We have one of those concepts to pick up. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, these are concepts such as a character rebels against a dystopian government on Independence Day. A group of friends embarks on a winter adventure. Um, a character who discovers a hidden
technically,
summer paradise.
technically, the mysterious box being left on a porch was a concept from previous months, so we can technically honor Bitzer's vote.
Yeah,
Using that one
that's true.
if we so wanted to.
That's
Technically.
true too.
Just saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it has been posted in the Discord. The due date is 3 p.m. Central Time. Adjust your times accordingly. Next Saturday, May 10th. And hold my pen promptcast at gmail.com. That's where you send the submission. Please include your word count because we're trying to get to 1,000,000 words submitted and read out by the anniversary show on New Year's or around New Year's. I don't remember what day New Year's is this year. That's 7 months away. I don't freaking care. So,
Minimum word count is 1 word. Maximum word count is 1,000,000. But please don't actually write 1,000,000.
please don't. Please don't. I mean, unless you want to single-handedly um kill our word count challenge
And our voices.
and our voices.
And our voices.
No, I say anyone who has the balls to submit 1,000,000 words,
Cash.
they get to come up here and actually do it themselves.
Cash.
I mean,
Do it.
Kesh would totally do it. In fact, I actually have in our OBS studio setup an extra fifth box that I can move around, and it is labeled Kesh. So if one of us cannot like make it for the evening, we just we get her up here, and she joins us for that evening.
I think she has the record for the longest submission at like 7K.
I don't know. I don't
Might have
know.
been 6K.
I do know, however, now that we've got it in a tracking thing, I can actually tell you who is the top 5 submitters for the year thus far. If you really want to,
Yes, I want to know.
you really want to
I want to
know.
know. I want to know.
All right, and this is updated as of tonight.
Yeah, not Trish. No, it won't be Trish. Trish is a master of being succinct.
Succinctness is also a good thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Toggle whip.
So, in 5th place is our very own fearless leader, Julie DeFisher,
Nice.
with 18,587 words. Now, that would probably be yeah, and that's not Crossroads, but the well, it might be some Crossroads, but in Julie's defense, she's working on a project trying to get something buttoned up before summer. So,
Yeah.
in 4th place, Stavros, one of our newest Canadian prompters, with 30,617.
Congrats.
All right, all right. In 3rd place, C.R. McCormick, with 34,202 words submitted this year thus far.
Wow. More than I thought. Nice.
Okay, there we go. And in 2nd place, PA Power,
Yeah.
with 34,762. So literally, there is only 560 words between the two of you submitted.
I think I
gotta
know
start
who's number
writing.
1.
In first
Right.
place.
Same.
In first place, Kesh Butler, with 62,306 words submitted to the Promptcast. And you know, Patrick is
How
now
much?
62,306.
Oh God.
But here's the thing that I want to say about that, right? Kesh is making up for lost time. The Etlon story that we are hearing was originally written before she had her child. You know, and it's been about 15 years since all of this was written, and she's going back and as a grown writer, you know, now going through. making up for lost time. The rest of us have been writing pretty much nonstop the last 2 years, if not more than that. And so, hey, I'm very proud of my bestie. Oh, yeah, 17. Oh, absolutely. If you've got promos that you want to share, Bitzer, by all means, put them in there. Put them in there.
I have to go because it's 20 minutes
Yes.
past my bedtime.
Yes, it is past your bedtime. All right. And that's actually the show. We're good. Don't forget to share, send things out. When you get the newsletter, share it with your writing friends and, have them join us. We love you. Take us out, boss.
All right, everybody, have a great week. Remember, be brave, be bold, but always stay humble. We'll catch you guys next week.